Hello, I'm Darren Appleton from England. I'm a world champion and Hall of Famer. My journey in pool started from my cousin, really. He was a professional pool player. When I was young, like 8 to 10 years old, I played just for fun with my brother and my cousin, just because he was a professional. He was like number 4 or 5 in the country at that time at English pool. But I was more into soccer and boxing up until the age of 15. And then one day, me and my brother was in a local bar, and the landlord of the bar, he see us playing, saw that we was quite talented, and he asked us to join his pool league, his pool team. So we joined the league, played our first ever competitive match in the local league, and I was hooked straight away. It quickly escalated from there, and I've become really good at the game. And I just went from local league to let's say regional level. And then I started playing local tournaments and had a lot of success very quickly, and I just thought, oh, maybe I can make a career from doing this. I've always liked beating my opponent, so no matter what sport it was, I've always been like a bad loser, quite aggressive in my nature. Maybe that's where I got my nickname from, Dynamite. Well, I think the feeling of losing is the thing what really drove me to make sure that I was a winner. I think just because I loved winning, but I hated losing more. So I think that's what drove me, really. I think to be successful at any sport, you've got to be very stubborn, you've got to be very driven, single-minded, and you've got to believe in yourself. That's the number one thing. Winning's the number one thing, but I want to perform. So pride in performance was very important to me. So even a lot of games I have won in the past, I've still analysed what I could have done better. So that just kept me on my toes and keep me driving forward. I was always looking to improve, thinking what I could have done better. And I think that's the key to success, really, and keeping that consistency. So I did everything in ones. My first major junior tournament, I won it. My first major amateur championship, I won it. And the first ever professional tournament I entered, I also won that. So I think those 3 big tournaments, the National Junior Championship, the National Amateur Championship, and winning my first professional tournament what I played in, just give me all the reassurance and the belief I needed to go to that next step each time. So whether it was a junior and to playing senior pool. So yeah, I was quite lucky, really, that in my English 8-ball days that I got off a really good start. And the same when I switched over to American pool. I switched over to American pool in 2006, and within 2 years I won the World 10-ball Championship. So everything happened very quickly. You just got to work hard. There's no secret, really. It's just hard work, study other sportsmen, and I think it's very important to have your idols and your icons. So in pool, I'd have someone like Efren Reyes, Francisco Bustamante, Alex Pagulayan, the old timers like Nick Varner. But at the same time, you have to play your own game, do it your own way. But I think you just got to be like a sponge. You take as much information as you can, and then you bring your own game into that also, and just work very hard. And then if you do the right things, it's going to give you the best chance to be a successful pool player. The big thing for me is that when I switched over to American pool from English pool in 2006, in 2007 I decided, because I realised straight away that this game's a lot tougher than I thought. Because I thought big pockets, it's going to be easy, right? Coming from English pool, where the pockets are a lot smaller, but I realised that there's a lot more to the game than just making the balls. So I thought, right, I'm going to get on a plane and I'm going to spend at least 6 months in the Philippines. So I didn't play no tournaments. I just went to the Philippines with my manager at the time, my stay course, and we were playing all the Filipino players, cheap sets, and then it went from cheap sets like $200 sets, playing against Efren Reyes, Bustamante, and then I started playing for 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, 5,000 against players probably around my level at that time, like a Warren Kianco, Levan Cortez, Gomez. I mean, they might have even been better than me at that time. But I was clever. I started playing 8-ball first, and 8-ball's my strongest game. So I was building up like a bankroll, and then when I built up the bankroll, then I started playing them at 9-ball and 10-ball. And then start playing these guys like Kiamco, Levan Cortez, Efren Reyes, Bustamante, and it was all about education, learning off the best players in the world. So this was in 2007, and then 2008, that's when I decided to play a full circuit, playing tournaments full time. And like I said before, I managed to win the World 10-ball Championship in the Philippines, my first major World Championship title, and it was big prize money at the time. It was $100,000 to the winner, so that took a lot of pressure off me going forward, and it opened all the doors for me. I started getting invited to tournaments. I had more success, so everything happened very quickly, and I really, it's all down to spending that time in the Philippines, where these days there's so much on the internet, YouTube, where you can learn the game a lot quicker. Where when I first started playing, you had to buy the old VHS tapes, or you had to play against these guys. And I decided the best way to learn the game was to play against these guys and throw myself in the deep end. So just spending that time in the Philippines was massive, really, for me. Yeah, it's been sort of a rough year, let's say. For a lot of people that don't know, I had a major cardiac arrest last year. So yeah, it's been tough. So I was out of the game really for 6 months. I'm slowly getting back out there. At the moment, I just want to get healthy enough to be able to compete again at a top level. And then, but I guess if I was being honest, my long-term goal would be to get back in the Mosconi Cup. Because I look at that and I think, well, if I'm in the Mosconi Cup, that means I've done a lot of good things to get to the Mosconi Cup. So I guess that would be my long-term goal. I would think it would be nice to get back in the Mosconi Cup and represent Europe. I wanted to join Team Tiger for quite some time secretly, but I was actually, I've been friends with Tony for at least 10 years. Every time I saw him at the shows, we had a good relationship. So then about, I guess, 3 to 4 years ago, he started sponsoring me originally through the tips. Happened last year in Las Vegas. I was at his booth and he asked me to try the Fortis shaft, and I hit about 3 or 4 balls and I was just blown away. Because I've tried a lot of different carbon fibre shafts by different cue companies and I didn't like any of them. I'm not going to mention any names, but I couldn't play with them, and I just didn't feel comfortable with them. It just didn't feel right compared to wood. But when I picked up the Fortis, it's the closest thing to wood. I had total control of the cue ball. It was just the right amount of deflection. The ferrule itself, that orange ferrule, that special material, and obviously with the sniper tip, it was just a perfect hit, the perfect feel. The most happiest I've felt with a sponsor for a long time, just because I feel like I'm very important to the company, and just because I have such a great relationship with Tiger. So yeah, I'm just very excited about where we can take it in the future. The big thing with Tiger for me is that even before I was even sponsored by Tiger is their quality. The quality of their equipment and the quality of their accessories. And that's what's always drawn me to them really, is that their tips, number one thing. They're all handmade, they're made in America, and the same with their cues. I mean, there's not a lot of people making their own cues anymore, and I think that's what really separates Tiger from everyone else really. I know that Tiger's quality is second to none, and I think it proves that with what's out there, especially their Fortis shaft, the carbon fibre. And yeah, I mean, I played with a lot of cues over the years, but I'm very excited, especially for next year, playing with the Tiger products and especially the Fortis shaft, because I know that if I can get my game back to where it was before, then I know that I could go up a different level, especially playing with the Fortis. For me, Tiger's a sleeping giant, I think, in the industry. Is that everyone knows who they are, but people don't realise how good they are. And I think that's the key, and that's my role really, is to get Tiger's name out there and show people the quality of their product over everything else out there. In my opinion, they've got the best carbon fibre shaft in the world, bar none. And the main reason why I joined Tiger is because of the Fortis shaft. Well, I swore by sniper tips. I've been playing with sniper tips for about 7 years, even before I was sponsored by Tiger tips or Tiger products. So I was using the tips before, but recently I've been trying the Honix, and I'm not going to lie, it's won me over a little bit. I still love the sniper, so at the moment I'm 50-50 between the sniper and the Honix. It's very hard for me to get away from the sniper, but I've got to admit the Honix, it just got that little bit more grab, that little bit more power over the sniper. But for consistency, the sniper's as good as anything. But I have used different tips in the past, like the Everest, probably the most popular tip worldwide. So yeah, I mean, their tips are on a different level to anything else. and they're all handmade here in America again, and that's a big thing for me, is that you know what you're getting. So when I change my tip, I know it's going to play exactly the same as my previous tip, and that's very important for a professional pool player especially. But the good thing with Tiger tips is that they're all consistent. Every tip plays the same, whether it's a Sniper, Onyx, Everest, Dynamite tips, is that it'll do what it says on the box, and that's very important. Is that, and especially when you're buying a tip, the last thing you want to do is take it off and then throw it away and wasting money on tips. So I can put a tip on, and I know that tip's going to last me at least 6 months, and that's very important to me. Because there's nothing worse as a professional pool player or someone what plays every day. You're having to change your tip all the time. It becomes a bit of a nightmare. And so the two most important things to a professional pool player is the tip and the shaft. The impact break cue, yeah, I was pleasantly surprised how powerful it is and how solid it is. So it's consistency again, and that's what you get with the impact. It consistently hits the ball solid every time. Even if you haven't got a great break like me, probably the weakest part of my game, the impact is really improving my break, because the break cue is doing all the work for me. So as long as your basics are good enough, the impact will really help you out big time. Like I said, it's the consistency and knowing it's gonna make you a better breaker or a better player, and it just gives you that extra power what you probably didn't think you have. And like I said before, the key is that it gives you that consistency, and as long as your technique's pretty decent, then the cues make you look a lot better than what you actually are. I'm Darren Appleton, and I'm Team Tiger.